to move to Japan, and I had become the first American to talk my way into a 34-generation-old tradition of protectors, the Togakure ninja. And when I was in Japan, I met this beautiful girl, and she was from the southern island of Kyushu. I remember that because in the James Bond novel, this beautiful Japanese girl came from a sea coast harvesting village in Kyushu Island, where it's kind of old-fashioned. And this girl I met was from Tenmei village on Kyushu Island, where they harvested the sea. And she had been in America as an exchange student for a year, so we could begin to speak. And eventually, I convinced her to marry me. And then we came back, and a few years later, after some trips through Tibet and India, I ended up in the late 1980s and through the 1990s escorting His Holiness the Dalai Lama as his security advisor, personal security escort, sometimes right here in Bloomington.
All right, welcome to the Action Martial Arts Power Hour. This is a show that we talk about anything and everything martial arts related, not martial arts related. A lot of times, as we say, we don't know what we're doing, but it actually turns out pretty well. And this is Alan Goldberg's brainchild. I want to bring him on so he can tell you more about it. Alan, the floor is yours.
Welcome back. This is our 26th show. We got a very special guest tonight with us, and we're pretty excited to have this man. And what's the nice thing about it, he's one of the icons in the martial art world, but it's someone I can call my friend also. And that's pretty important. I mean, to me, celebrity person, no matter where you come from, is just a celebrity until you get to know them personally. And the gentleman I will be bringing on is more than just a celebrity to me. He's actually a very dear friend. In fact, he's traveled with us a couple places and just loves hanging out with us when we go out. So I just want to, say thank everyone for being here again. Lou's always doing a great job in what we do. And I just want to do my birthday list, which I do all the time. Okay. And I just want to say we have birthdays for Peter Tubbs, Grandmaster Ian Sanchez, Mitchell Castor, Les Konowski, Michael Sawyer, Vernon Jones, Anastasia from Russia, my niece, Jamie Renee, and John Legrand. Okay. So we're in pretty good shape there that these people, as I always say, what we do this for is if you're on Facebook, just about everyone we know has a Facebook page. And if you see these people up, give them a little hello. I mean, make everyone feel good. My biggest thing in my world, in the martial art world, because we're all getting a little older now, and, we don't fight about stupid things and, try to move on with life in a good way. So if you do these people, I think they would enjoy someone just saying, hey, how you doing? So your name was brought up on the Power Hour. So thanks. And let me just go into one little thing so we know. I have not heard anything back from Mr. Frank Dukes at this point. I know Don had put something up last week and hasn't said anything, but Don has got over 400 comments in one day. It was amazing. And the video that was up is almost up to 180,000 people have watched that video within a month. So that's pretty amazing. I mean, it's, I wouldn't say a record, but it's pretty good in the martial art world to get that many people watching something. So again, Frank Dukes, we're here waiting for you. If you ever decide you want to come on, we're not going to ambush you. We're going to just talk the truth, and that'll be it. Okay, so let me not wait too much longer. I have, again, my very dear friend and become an icon in the word ninja. Okay, when you hear the name, or you hear the name just ninja, not too many people think of anything else but this gentleman named Grandmaster Stephen Hayes. Okay, and Stephen is not only a great man in what he does, great knowledge, but he's just a real good guy. We hang out, we have some great time. So let me bring him on right now, my friend Stephen Hayes.
Stephen, you're on the show.
Hey, Alan. Hey, Lou.
Hey, Steve, how are you, buddy?
This is one of my favorite guys, Stephen Hayes. No question.
It's great to be with you. Great to
Thank
be
you.
with you.
Appreciate it. Well, you know what it is with Stephen, too? he brings an air of calmness upon you when you speak.
Anytime you came into a room, Stephen, and I may have been rattled up, and all of a sudden you walk in, everything's calm, and it's like Zen. It's wild. You have that impact.
It definitely does, and that's very cool. That's very cool. Some people say when I walk in a room, they know I'm there. Usually because my mouth is always flapping. But I just, I enjoy the company I have. And I tell you, Stephen, last year, I have a certain way I dress, a certain way I do things. And last year, Stephen, well, before the pandemic, but we were in Ohio, and all of a sudden Stephen walks in, and he goes, "Hey, Alan, how you doing?" He comes in with a hat and a pair of boots, the whole thing, and we go, "All right, now we're twins, man. We got the great beards, we got no hair. Away we go." It was a lot of fun. So
shirts match too.
Yeah, very close. And we didn't plan that. That was the mistake.
No.
But Stephen's been around for a long time. We're not going to tell his age. People don't do that in this industry, right? But Stephen's been around a long time and has a story that it's out of a James Bond novel. He's done things that most people. Well, let's put it that way. We do know a couple people that might even use Stephen as a background of their life, but he has really done it. And so just Steve, I got a few questions I want to speak to you. I listened to some of your podcasts and stuff like that, so I know most of your story. But you want to know something with guys like you and me, when you have a full life, stories don't end. I'll give you a better one too. Tonight, I listened to a little podcast that my buddy Chuck Zito just did. It was recent. It was only about 2 months ago. And I sat and listened to it, and I went, wow. And I'm close with Chuck. I know it's 20 years already. And I didn't know 1/10 of the amount of stories he was telling. So it's always good when you get someone on like this and talks and you hear things like this. So I just want to ask you, Stephen, I know it's boring for you. You must have told the story 100 times. How the hell did you start to be a ninja? Where did it come from?
It is a really funny story. When I was like 15 years old, I was going to high school, and a friend of mine, now this was like way before the internet or anything like, we read books. That was it. Actual pages. And he gives me this book. He says, "Hey, this is pretty cool. Read this novel." So I look at it. It's James Bond. You Only Live Twice. Oh, okay, I'll read it. And so out of my friendship with this guy, I start to read this book. Oh, man, I'm just captivated. Here's this James Bond. He protects the monarch. And in this story, he goes to Japan, and he's trained by the Togakure and the Iga ninja, so he can infiltrate this bad guy's place. And as part of his cover, they give him a Japanese girl, and she's from the coast of Kyushu Island. I still remember that. A little ski village on Kyushu Island, and she's gorgeous. And oh God, stake through the heart. Yeah, this novel. This novel captivated me. And, but then I forgot about it and finished high school and went to college. And eventually I started to study Tang Sudo. And, oh, man, I loved it. I just ate it up. These were some Vietnam War guys who'd come back. Vietnam was still going on, and military people. And they taught it. I loved it. But in the background was always this idea of the ninja. And so I finally started a little karate school. I was woefully, unqualified, but this is my whole life. This is my whole identity. And I eventually made up my mind. I'm going to go to Japan and try to find this ninja. So meanwhile, I'd read an article in Black Belt magazine about this guy in Japan. And anyway, the years went by. I one day realized, I went to Japan. I was trained by the Togakure and the Iga ninja. I spent the 1990s traveling with the monarch, the Dalai Lama of Tibet, head of Tibet, as his security escort when he was in North America. So I was protecting the monarch, and I found a girl from a sea village on Kyushu Island, married her. I'm living this novel I'd read. So some of my friends tease me. They say, "Oh, you should have read Think and Grow Rich." But yes, that's really it. And it was amazing, or it was amazing to me when I finally got to Japan. I'd taken a little bit of Japanese in college, but I could speak a little bit, and but I got to Japan. How am I going to find this guy? I can't read. They got thousands of kanji. I can't read kanji. I could be standing in front of the guy's place with a big sign. I wouldn't even know it. And miracles happened. I mean, miracles happened that just took me right to this guy's place. And this was back in 1975. And, they came to this inn. Just so happened the inn that somebody had taken me to was run by this little old lady who was a childhood friend of this teacher's mom. I mean, so yeah, I can give him a call. And he came over that night, and he said, "Okay, well, tomorrow you can train with these guys, and I don't have to pass a test or interview or." "Oh, no, you can train with these guys." And yeah, so years later, after I was married and living back in the U.S., we had one of my seniors over. He was a military guy by occupation, but was a practicing ninja. And my wife said, "Oh yeah, Stephen was really honored that you guys would accept him just like that and open the dojo up and let him train." And he goes, "Oh, is that what he thought happened?" And I go, "Wait, what? What?" And he goes, "Oh no, you were a big American, and the Japanese of my generation are kind of small, and so we thought we'd practice on you."
Ninjas. The art of concealment and surprise, one son.
On the experiment, yeah. We practice on you, try this stuff out. After about a week, you'd think we were insane, and you'd leave, and we could go back to training, but you just never left. All these years, I've been telling everybody how honored I was.
A lot of your stories are a lot of like mine, except on the Chinese end of the situation.
Yes. Yeah, I've enjoyed sharing stories with
I was like in the underground Chinese type of situation. So it was kind of the same, because you were definitely, that was an underground, because nobody was supposed to know about it. You were lucky enough to find where you wanted to go.
Oh, yeah. In fact, there was no sign. He was like a physical therapist, and so there was his therapy sign. Yeah, his therapy clinic sign, and he'd have to go through all these stretchy tables and cable-y things where they'd pull you up and do all this therapy. And in the back of his house was the dojo. And nobody knew about this. Nobody. In fact, even that lady that was the childhood friend of his mom, she had no idea. She had no idea he was a ninja. And then I wrote a couple of books and blew the lid off of that thing.
21 books, right? Am I not mistaken?
Yeah,
21 books.
That's a lot of books. I got a hard time writing a letter to somebody. That's an accomplishment in itself, definitely.
Yeah. Oh, people ask me, they say, "Well, you're going to write a 23rd or 24th book?" And I say, "I don't know. I've said about everything that I got to say right now. Maybe I'll do videos or something like that."
Yeah, that's wild. But in a little segue, we talk about books. I had just came out with something. I throw in this my little commercial, I have to say. Me and Don Werner came out with a new magazine, The Tao of Wing Chun.
Wow. Wow.
And we really, it's getting great reviews. I got my Sifu on the cover, Jason Lau on the cover.
And now he's still active, right?
Yeah, Steve. One day you got to go down to Georgia with us.
Oh,
He has a school. In the front of the school is a 40-car parking lot. Okay, and then there's another whole block behind it. But when he bought the land, it was all forest. Now they built all around it, and he literally has there's one, two, like 3 buildings. It's got to be about 20,000 square feet training. And then he has 2 areas outside at another 40,000 in each place. Tremendous, the school. I mean, literally be the size of 2 supermarkets. That's how much room is at this location. And he doesn't let a lot of students in. You have maybe 50, 60 students, and that's it. Because he doesn't do it for the money. Knock wood. The quick story I tell you, when I lived with him in school for 6 years. When I lived there with him, we used to fight over a slice of pizza. We used to cut it in half. Now he's a multi-millionaire. God bless him. So, he's got a lot of money. But anyway, let's get back to Steve. Now, Steve, in your time and when you came back to America, okay, you probably had a hard time in the sense that nobody knew what jiu-jitsu really was. You had to open the eyes to these people what that was. People might have heard of it or saw something of it, but it was so mystical, most people didn't even believe it was around. So you were up against a very curious situation. You had to prove what you knew, but you came from the good background. So tell us a little more about that once you came back to America.
Well, it was 41 years ago, and now everybody cross trains. Everybody cross trains, do a little BJJ and a little MMA, and everybody cross. But 41 years ago, people did not cross train, and so they would see me doing strike and grappling and choke outs and weapons, and not everybody was real happy with me. Not everybody's real happy with it.
You were the experiment. Remember that?
Was that?
Has that
You were the
changed?
experiment.
Yeah, they now Black Belt Magazine was owned by Mito Uehara back then.
Correct, right?
And he's an Aikido guy.
Yep.
And I can tell the story now, but Mito hated this ninja thing. He hated it. Yep. But I made him a fortune. These books that I published through his company just, boom, blew the lid off. And, he'd put me on the cover of the magazine. The magazine would sell like crazy. And he didn't like it, but it was
money.
Yeah. So, people would write in, oh, this guy's so phony. He just took a little karate and some judo and some kali sticks and a little zen. And, those were like the senseis that I used to joke around. I'd say, well, the students read these articles and they go to their sensei and say, how do we deal with this? And maybe they don't have the answers. And so they got to make me wrong. But the majority of people really loved this thing, like striking and grappling and stealth. People would write, oh yeah, get all dressed in black, sneak around my backyard, and sneak around the backyard. And, okay. But it was funny because I used to do seminars. I didn't have a dojo. I didn't want to have a dojo. I would do seminars, and I had a couple guys I trained with in Ohio, but we just got in the backyard. And I would say a good 50% of the people in the seminar were not martial artists. They were what I call dangerous occupation individuals. Some people had like pretty scary resumes. Like way beyond me. I'm just a martial art teacher guy. I was never in the military or never was a spook or anything like that. But some of these people were, and they'd come we had, we had an assassin for the state of Germany, and he came over, and but I used to tell my friends, I'd say, well, these guys keep coming back. So that's validation. If I was teaching crap, they'd come and say, oh, this guy's full of stuff.
Right.
No, they kept coming back and asking questions. And, I'd done some Tang Sudo and a little tiny bit of Aikido. And I didn't realize, I think at the time, how very different the movement of what I was teaching was from conventional martial arts. And the Okinawan, where we would ground in. I'm not criticizing Okinawan karate.
The hard and the soft. That was the difference at the time.
There you go. Yeah. So, boom, I get in my position, I slam my arm up, I pound back, and I'm strong enough and fast enough and powerful enough that I can overpower this other guy. That isn't what we would do. Strike would be coming in, we'd fade with it and counter the center line. You don't have to stop the punch. And I think these guys liked that because they knew, hey, I'm going to be running. Yeah, might have to fight a couple people. We're using less and less energy to get more and more done. And, so that went on for years. But you're right, it was hard because nobody saw me move. There weren't videos. There wasn't even VHS. VHS didn't come until. Yeah. And so I think, a lot of people, they had no idea, what it was I was doing and what I was teaching. And
what was that approximately?
1981.
Okay.
1981, 82. By 82, the ninja boom had started.
We kind of had the same situation when I met my instructor, like in 1874. We were teaching Wing Chun, and nobody knew what the hell that was. And again, we were in the midst of all the hard martial arts, and we were teaching something that was made by a woman. So we were also at the time just put aside. Nobody cared about what we did, and now Wing Chun is known worldwide. So
yeah,
very close parallel.
I think that was it. Yeah. So when I went to Japan in '75, this teacher had like 15 students, and including me, and I didn't realize till years later they explained to me, well, his teacher had just died. The 1800s guy who was like, he was a part of the Japanese, like, government, free enterprise, spying. They had these leagues, Yellow River Society and Black Dragon Society and all of these that were over in China from Japan. And I mean, when Japan came out of the samurai era in the 1860s, when we were having our civil war, they looked around and they said, hey, we're the only Asian nation that's not been colonized. Imperialism is what the Americans and Dutch and Germans and English do. Oh, we'll do that too. We're going to do that too. And so, man. So he was a part of that imperialist thing, and he was in China, and he had, stories I could tell, run-ins with Japanese mafia and over certain people that he kind of rescued. And so this was the teacher of my teacher. And my teacher grew up, he wasn't in the war. He was too young to be in the war. And so constantly questioning, legitimately questioning, am I as good as the old guy, who really tested himself out? Chinese hated him, and man, they would have these martial brotherhood associations, and Chinese are there and the Japanese are there, and put on little smiles and but vicious. Vicious. The fights in there, and so your teacher's teacher was on the Chinese side. my teacher's teacher was on the Japanese side, and so, but there were only 15 people, but his teacher had just died, and he didn't really, I guess, trust himself. So he had people, and he was going over the stuff that his teacher had taught him, and that's when I showed up on the scene. Just really lucky, I guess. Yeah.
The experiment. There you are again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now I know you you did all the books, which is wonderful. I mean, it's a great legacy. I sometimes lose my conscience. He yells at me because I don't document myself. I just don't do it. It's not. You know what I say? I rather document people, like I do my magazine and things I do, and I don't document myself. And Lou's always yelling at me. To do that.
Well, you ever notice, Stephen, when he's at the event or whatever, he's not taking pictures. He's running around and no one's paying any attention. Everybody wants his attention, but they're not giving him the attention that he needs. So I noticed this like a decade ago. I said, you know what? I got to take pictures. And
that's great.
That's what I do.
That's great.
Because if I don't do that, he's not going to do it.
Yeah, no, I think that's part of it.
I don't think I own the camera now in the phone. Yeah,
well, you gave it away. You gave it away, Alan.
I did. I actually did.
Yeah, but you don't even sit at the head table. You sit like way in the back. And, I mean, I think people notice that. I think people notice that.
Well, I think it's important. I think it's important for the fact that from the back or whatever I am sitting, I'm able to see everything.
Yeah.
He's sitting on stage, the lights in your face. It's not the same thing.
But also, you don't make it about you. You don't make it about you.
No, you don't make it about you.
So many people do. They make it about them. It's their spotlight, So
I think that's right, Lou.
Yeah.
I think that's it. And Alan, you don't make it about you. You showcase everybody else, and people notice this. They may not say anything about it, but I think they notice that. Yeah. Vince, do you find that to be true?
Vince is not on. Vince is not on with us right now. He's a innocent bystander.
Oh, okay.
But I know you've done some other things over the years. I know you try to get into the movie industry a little bit, and I know you did a couple of things with Richard Chamberlain. You did the Shogun with. Tell us a little bit about that, because that's interesting too. From being the American ninja to be on the screen too. That's pretty impressive.
When I was in Japan, I was in my 20s. Mm-hmm. So I had like thick dark hair, and I used to think of myself as good looking, and I studied acting in school. So but in America, the likelihood of becoming a movie star, just infinitesimal, tiny little number of people from all the ones who went. So in Japan, though, I was different looking. So I had an agent, and I was I was in TV shows and Japanese movies, and so I heard, like in 1978, I heard they were going to be filming Shogun. So I called my agent and I said, hey, Shogun is going to be done by Toho Studio in conjunction with Paramount. Can you get me a job? And he said, he said, no, funny. He said, I didn't even talk to him because anything that's available with them is like below your pay scale. And I said, well,
take the phone up.
Close to my heart, even though they don't pay me as much, I'll do it. I'd like to do this because this would be one that might show in America. He said, oh, okay. So I went to rehearse or audition and read some lines, and so they cast me as one of Richard Chamberlain's ship people in the very beginning of the movie. So I had to climb up this rope ladder, and a wave washed me over, and I swam around and drowned, and so this is kind of fun, and I was even on screen. It's what we call a sneeze performance. If you sneeze, you miss me. Yeah, but I'm coming out of this door, and the rain is hitting.
And a few of those.
Yeah, I got long black hair and a dark beard, and but talking with the people, they said, well, we need a stunt double for John Rhys Davies, who's playing the Portuguese navigator. Now, John is like this.
He's a
massive,
big guy. Yeah.
He's a big guy, a really big guy. And he has this very deep,
Like that plays a midget.
Shakespearean voice. He speaks like this, and I'm supposed to,
You're
double
doing
for him.
well. You're doing well, Stephen.
And so they got me a water ski life vest. And they had like double costumes. They had one for John and one for me. So we'd get made up together, and Richard Chamberlain was in there, and so we got made up, and I would put John's coat over this life vest. And I looked kind of big, like him, and I would yell at the crow. It was in a rainy, stormy sea, and I would command the crew what to do and yell and scream. And I'm running down, and a wave hits, and I go overboard. And so the Richard Chamberlain character jumps in the water, in the sea, and rescues me. And, this is a kind of a key turning point in the story, because the Portuguese hated the British, he was British, but he was supposed to be with a Dutch ship. They hated each other, and he saved him, and now he's kind of obligated to help him out. And the story moves on from there. But I would fall in the water, and because I'm in this life vest, boom, I'd pop up in the water down here, I'd pop up. And
That's funny.
Chamberlain would jump in, and his clothes would immediately become water soaked, and he's going down. I'm popping up. I reach down and grab him, pull him back up. Oh, cut,
Who's saving who?
cut. And, oh God, we did that for like 5 times, and finally, I would tread water in reverse. I would pull the water into my boots, and it would kind of pull me down, and we discovered if Richard Chamberlain, there was a certain vest he had on, and so if you took that vest off, then he could stay up. Oh gosh. And I mean, that was a whole night of just those few seconds.
I know.
Anyway, I worked for them for a month and a half, and so many fun stories. It was now, I don't know, anybody even remember Shogun? Us old white-beard guys remember Shogun.
I have to say it's like one of the classics, though, from the time, because there was even the Tom Cruise movie they did, Samurai.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that became a classic, and
Yes.
I think it became both of them in a sense because they had a different story to tell.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the typical, American-made type of story. I myself, I see something like that, I go, "Wow, this is cool. I want to sit and watch it." So, you kind of think that people will remember it that think the same way, have the same mindset.
Well, you have movies that are made that are timeless, that 100 years later, they don't get old because of what they represent.
It's funny. I hear, I live in Ohio. I don't go to California much anymore. I used to a lot in the 80s and 90s, but, so I only hear secondhand stuff. But I hear people say in the movie business, American audiences don't identify with Asian heroes. You've got to have a white guy hero, and but look at Shogun did have a white guy hero, but it was all about the Asians. And Last Samurai, it was all about all the Asians, and the hero was barely a hero. He was a drunk guy, and what was that? Leaping Dragon, Crouching Tiger, all Chinese.
Look at Donnie Yen now.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
So I don't buy this.
No, I don't buy that anymore.
By
Either.
Asian thing at all.
And again, that is that mystique that people like to see. I don't know if you saw that TV series that Shannon Lee did, her father's script, A Warrior.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Yeah, I was privy enough. I was invited in to see the first two shows, and I met Shannon there at the time, and it was really, really well done. But it was all about the Asian, the Oriental people in America, but it was based around the Oriental. And I have to be honest with you, I don't know why nothing more became of it, but it was great. It was literally something that you could watch. It was almost like watching Kung Fu on TV when you were a kid, you know?
Oh yeah,
Same
no
type
kidding.
of thing. So, who knows? I mean, there was a reason why I didn't go anywhere, but whatever I did see of them, it was a good storyline too, besides being a good. All right, so
No,
now you did the movie Gibbet. You came back to America. You decided to marry, have a family, the whole 9 yards. Tell us where that brought you to this day.
what? Getting married and coming back? Yeah. Well, I kid around. I tease my daughters. They're in their 30s now. But I said, well, I was kind of a weird kid when I was in high school. I never figured I'd get married. I had to go to the old country, way out, to find somebody who would put up with my lifestyle. And I was just so lucky, to get Rumiko. And her parents were sea harvesters. So, this nori that is around sushi, they make that's what they make. They harvest this and they go out in boats. And so, they were kind of a self-made family. When we were dating, I asked, this is back in the 70s. I asked her, hey, was your dad in the war? And she says with a straight face, she says, oh yeah, he was trained as a kamikaze pilot. Oh God. Yeah.
But you come out and you're having dinner and he comes running up, bonsai, you got a problem.
And it's not the Karate Kid.
Oh man. But then I got to figure out, she was born in 1955, so he must not have been very good.
He didn't kill himself at least, right?
Yeah. No, but they were all kids. They were all like teenagers. Mm-hmm. And they just grabbed them from Kyushu Island and put them in what they called Navy Flight School. Mm-hmm. They didn't spend a lot of time on how to land.
AKA suicide camp. Go ahead.
Yeah. And if the war had gone on for like another 2 months, I would not have had Rumiko as my wife. No. And, what was really weird, I remember we would have these parties. And these guys are all agricultural workers. They are built like, just not an ounce of fat on them. They're just all muscle.
Strong. Yeah.
Very strong, very strong. And hard drinking. And boy, the next morning, 6 a.m., they're all up, ready to go. Oh, I'm dragging around. And so we're all in there, and all the men are in like this one big room. They take the walls down and make a big room, and the women are out in the kitchen. And it's not a discrimination thing. The men are telling crazy stories, and the women would rather be talking to them. And so he starts talking about MacArthur.
Wow.
I'm the only one who looks like me in the room,
Right.
Oh gosh. So I listen, and MacArthur is like a hero to these guys.
Really?
Yeah. I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away. Yeah, because MacArthur came in and showed the Japanese what their government was doing to them. Mm-hmm. He was ready to die for the country, and he realized, no, the country did not have our best interest in mind. MacArthur showed him that. MacArthur gave him democracy. MacArthur made the land owning, like there were 7 families, like 7 families owned all the land in Japan. And he made these people sell to the people who worked the land, education. MacArthur was like a hero to these people.
Wow, I never knew that.
No, I didn't either. And he really opened their eyes. And we in Dayton, Ohio, where I live, there's the Air Force Museum where they have all these airplanes from the Wright brothers to the space thing. And so when he was visiting, we took him out to this. He's looking at these World War II airplanes, and he says, Oh, no wonder we lost.
God,
Yeah, the Japanese
really?
government had been lying to these people. Oh no, we're winning. We got these people. He
Well,
looked.
the Japanese Navy was, hell of a Navy. Though.
Oh yeah,
We won by accident on the Navy point. I saw Tora it was, and when I watched the show, we by mistake we won because we went left for an hour and they went right for an hour and they missed each other.
yeah.
Otherwise, who the hell knows where the war would have turned out? We might have all been speaking Japanese for all we know. Well, you do speak some
Everybody be a
Japanese.
ninja. I don't know.
Yeah.
But, that's great stories. Like a story like that you don't hear often.
Yeah.
And even though it's not a martial arts story, it's a background from where your martial arts came, and that's very rich. That's very rich.
I think that's important for sure, Alan, because the culture and how things evolve and develop, it's not just about the fighting, it's about the everything, the whole story. And you have that, and that's great. I love it.
Yeah. Now, Steve, we're both lose a little younger than both of us. Let's put it that way.
A little bit.
But me and Steve we're up there. Steve's a little older than me, but we're both up there. Where do you see? I mean, I'm looking at you now. You're sitting in your dojo. That's impressive.
This is my house dojo.
Right.
I also have a city dojo in the city, but
right.
But
it's impressive enough that you have something at your age you're not giving up.
Oh.
And I don't think you could ever give it up. Yeah. I just reopened my school yesterday.
Did you?
In a year. Yeah, in a year. I had the school closed down. Opened up yesterday, and walking in, it was just such a good feeling to be back.
Well, it's home.
Yeah, and I just went, wow. So when I look at guys like us at our age, have still where our origins, if you want to say, started, that's so important. Not a lot of people have that anymore. They got to pay someone some rent. I mean, you stand in you can't even, you're in a shoebox for the money they want to charge.
Yeah.
But where do you see and feel your life is going at this point? I know you're doing something with Sentry. I know you're doing something with Sentry with the uniform that I saw.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
41 years later. Yeah, I'm with it. 41 years later.
Yeah, an overnight success after 41 years.
These little Halloween ninja suits, and kids still wear them, still kill. And everybody's a ninja now. Have you noticed that? Okay, ninja.
No other martial arts that they make them become a ninja because it's easier.
Sure, everybody's a ninja. And so, I designed this authentic ninja suit. And I got my first royalty check. I haven't even promoted it. I haven't
really
even it. And I get this royalty check from Century. It's selling.
Wow.
Buying these.
Our audience, listen to me. Go to Century and look for Stephen Hayes ninja suit.
Stephen Hayes ninja suit.
You gotta look, man.
Yeah,
that's what you. Yeah, you gotta look. Stephen Hayes ninja suit. It's like $69, but I mean, it's beautifully done.
Really?
I'm really proud of it. Yes, I mean, there are things like that, but one of the things I've noticed with the COVID lockdown is I can teach some things, physical things. I get a training partner and we can do that on Zoom. And, I used to do seminars. So a person's got to buy an airplane ticket. They got to get a hotel room for a couple nights. They got to pay for food. So it's $1,000 weekend, just to come here. And that's not even including the seminar fee. And now with Zoom, we can just go right there. And,
we don't mention
use the word word.
We use Vero.
Oh, well, with Vero, we can go right. We can go right into there, right into their home. And but what I've been doing through this COVID is a lot of people don't know this, but I'm also I'm very passionate about my martial arts. But ever since I was a little kid, I've also been interested in like spiritual topics and Asian spiritual things. And so
Mhm.
I've had a kind of a parallel career. I don't talk about it a lot with some of these. That's how I got involved with the Dalai Lama. And
Mhm.
so I've been putting into like accessible for American English language, some of these things I've studied about personal development,
Mhm.
how you live your life, how you speak, how you think even. And so we have some exercises, and those things have taken off. Boom, big time. And so, the people form like Facebook discussion groups. And now these are all my martial arts students, but uh,
But that's
so,
where it begins, and that's where it grows. And this is are these books that you wrote, or
no. I have a couple of books that are spiritual, but this is just delivering exercises. And the people go through the exercises, they meditate. We can put them in rooms where they can have like one-on-one. Here's what I experience. Here's what I experience, and
so we got 22 books, and I think that is a 23 and a 24 and a 25th coming up. I see it already. Make it happen,
Yeah.
Stephen. Make it happen.
I think so. I really think so.
People need it. People need it because they forget. You can have all the physical things in order, but if you're not taking care of your inside, your outside can only go so far.
It's funny. A lot of relationships, again, we say we're so liking different ends of the world, in the sense.
Mm-hmm.
When we were in our school, we had a thing called Kwang Ti, or Sunda. And you walk into my school, the first thing you see is a Chinese temple. And we light incense for the temple, the whole 9 yards. So there's a very big spiritual thing. And that is also a lot what's missing within modern day martial arts, that deep-rooted feeling of it's something else.
I think you're right, Alan. I think you're right. I think a lot of people, you got people over here that just want to bust up, faces and, hey, there's a place for that. Those kind of people aren't interested in what I've got, they got holes in their heart, and somebody did something really bad to them when they were kids, and they're still fighting back. You need a therapist. But the people that are attracted to what I'm doing and, what you're doing through Wing Chun, and they're looking for that balance, okay, half the problems you encounter are going to be coming from the inside out.
Mm-hmm.
How do I interpret, this guy said that to me, and people go, oh, he was kidding around. He was just kidding around,
But how your reaction is, it tells the whole story, because every action has a reaction, right? So if you're reactionary, what's that reaction going to be?
Well, I think that's really it, isn't it, Lou?
Yeah.
And the other thing that I've noticed over 41 years, I've gotten my share of criticism from people, and but I never fight back. And I read a little line the other day, on the internet, and it says, "Have you ever noticed the people at the top never criticize the people who are trying to come up? It's always the other way around. The people down here are always criticizing the ones up at the top.
Unless you name Frank Duke, but that's another story. That's for another day.
Yeah.
Well, actually, you think about it. That's coming down here and looking up anyway. That's another day. Yep.
Yeah. No, isn't that the truth?
It is.
If you're here, you're constantly looking up. How can I be better? How can I be stronger? How can I, be more effective? How can I be happier? How can I be more of a winner? How can I help more people? So we have a little motto in our school. We help people improve the world. So we help people improve the world. Mm-hmm. So I don't like reach in my pocket and give them all my money.
No, that's a good point you're making, Stephen, because it's not about giving a hand out, it's about giving a hand up. So if you're helping someone, giving them the tools to be a better person, be better with themselves, that's going to just resonate with the people around them. It is by
Oh,
default, I would think. You know.
That's almost like a little motto of our show. If you heard what I said about the birthday wishes before,
Mhm.
reach out, say it, because that's important. And what
Sure.
I always say is we, as a community of the quote unquote good people, we as the community should be helping each other. Someone has an event coming up, I want to be there to help that event. A lot of people get jealous of what I do, okay? But I always offer to help anybody. I never turn anyone down. And I get mad with these guys for some of them what they do, and what, we're all here to help each other, really are. I don't know anyone that would turn each other down within our, and you know what I'm talking, within our group, Stephen.
mm.
I run my event. It's been so successful for years already, and we get thousands of people coming through the front door. Everyone there is in the same mindset. Nobody's there looking to hurt each other.
Hmm.
So that's a beautiful thing.
No, that's really true, isn't it? I marvel on that every time I sit at that table and look at that whole, 1,000, 2,000 people, and I always comment, people who don't understand martial arts would think, whoa, this would be the most dangerous place to be in the world. All these egos and fighters, and no, it's the safest place to be.
Mhm.
Everybody looking out for each other. And, the other thing that I'm so impressed is, these people, and you give them an award, and maybe this guy has run a little training hall in a church basement, and he's poured his whole life out to a few students, and people don't know him, but his students love him, and he gets to shine for a few minutes. He gets that trophy, and
It's that feel good moment. It's that feel good moment.
yeah, everybody claps.
And so the people that don't know that haven't been to my event is watching the show. I've got criticized many times. Oh, you're doing it and you're making all this money. They'd be paying me 25 cents an hour if you realize what I wind up making after the event. Because I don't do anything cheap. Everything I do is top of the line. And
people do what I call baby arithmetic.
Yeah.
They count the heads and multiply it times. And no, we got a few expenses.
A few.
Yeah, exactly.
especially in the largest casino on the East Coast. On top of it.
Yeah.
But what I try to do is I don't give awards away like this. I don't give out 25 Grandmaster of the Year awards away. I don't do that. And if you watch 90% of what I give away, or 95%, is a spirit award.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying thank you for being in the martial art world. And if you're coming in to be part of it, it's like being part of the community. Really, it's all it is. So I'll take the criticism all day long, as long as I know that I can do a good job of what I do.
Yeah, and the critics are not above you; they haven't outdone you.
Well, you know who the critics are? The guys on my blacklist, and the guys that don't get invited.
Yeah. Oh, because they want to be a part of the party, but they ruin it because when you have that bile that comes out of you, and it seeps through your skin because you have some jealousy towards someone, I think that's the worst thing, because what are you doing? You're beating all this ugliness is coming out. People are seeing it. Who wants to be around that? Alan, your event, when you go to your event, everyone's on the same level.
Yeah.
People can come up to Steven, the first American Ninja, they can come talk to him, and he's like the next guy. And they speak about this. They go home, they speak to their families, they sit down to dinner, and they talk about this stuff. And it's so important because you feel like you're a part of something, not
I built
a bystander.
I've built such a good reputation with people because I try to treat everyone well.
Mm-hmm.
And I have people that I can't sometimes believe. I get embarrassed. They'll tell me things like, "Oh, Alan, we love you," this, that, and I'm okay, whatever. But so many things have come out of my event. This is the segue to this next part. There was a gentleman, and his name was Grandmaster Ronald Duncan, and you were at my event, and I'll never forget this. This is one of my favorite stories. You and I were talking. We were standing near my front, and you say to me, "Alan, is Ronald Duncan showing up?" I says, "I heard he was coming." I says, "Yeah." And I'm going, "Oh, okay. Is there going to be a problem now?" I'm saying to myself. You come over and you say, "I really like if you would introduce us." And I looked, I go, what? And in Jewish, we call it mensch, a man. What a mensch. Look at this guy. I says, And I walk into the hallway, and I look down the escalator, and I see Ronald Duncan coming up with his little entourage. And I got him, he grabbed me by the arm, God rest his soul, pulls me to the side, and he goes to me, Alan, I have to ask you a question. What's the matter? So he goes, it's Stephen Hayes here, I heard. And here we go now. I'm thinking he's going to say something that you're there. And he goes, really, really would appreciate if you brought me over so we can introduce ourselves. And that was so beautiful. I walk in the door, and he has a little entourage, and you're sitting there with one or two people that you were with over here, and I put you two together, and I went, I did my job. And you two talked, and you stood there for about a half hour just talking. And it was so beautiful, because that's a story that, that doesn't happen often.
But this is what your event does, Alan. This is what it brings together good people that just want to connect. Of course, you got a couple of a-holes roaming around, but you can't please everyone.
And I'll even tell Stephen the story that you may not know. I've had 3 celebrities over the years that I put out of my event that I would not let back in. I told them, please leave, because they did not want to play the right game with the people. They wanted to play their own game. And my event was supposed to be there for friendship.
Yeah.
They want to look at you come though. You met Sheldon Lennox at my event.
Yeah.
And it's great. That's what it's all about. You meet people and you build new friendships. Let's put it that way. But we try to always keep a positive image. We'll see. We're close to the end. We got another few minutes. What I like to give you is a few minutes to make your proclamation, your future, of where you want to go and what you want to do. You were just talking about your writings and stuff like that. Finish up with what you feel is important and what you want to do in the rest of your life in the martial art world.
Yeah, I think I'm 72 now, and I've got a few more years in the game, and so I'm really concentrating. I've got a bunch of guys that are in their late 30s, 40s, and I have some in their 50s and 60s, but the 30s and 40s, would kind of inherit what I'm doing. So if it deserves to live on, I mean, my martial art could just die with me, but if it deserves to live on, people are going to see the value. They're going to treat it as their own entity. And I got a couple of guys like that. And I'm really focusing on this very subtle movement. And it is not MMA. It's very different looking. So I think I'll enjoy, my house dojo. People come here to Ohio, and, we got our kids moved out. I mean, when we built the house, we had children, and Rumiko's sister, Mariko, lived with us to help raise the kids. And now it's just Rumi and me in this giant house. And so people come, and, they can stay here, and we train. And so I'm enjoying that, looking forward to handing on everything that I have. And then also this spiritual value as well. It's an accessible system. It makes sense. It's not religion. It's what I call mind science. It comes from Asia. Ways to just get your life in shape. Right now, I've got to say, I'm so lucky. I live in my dream house. I'm married to my dream girl. I have my dream friends. I don't spend any time with a person I don't like. No, I'm always surrounded by people I like. I love that. And I drive my dream cars. Funny. I just recently took up cowboy single action shooting gunfighting. Yeah, when I was 4, I wanted to be a cowboy, So I have a bunch of guys we shoot in these competitions, and it's funny. And so I'm just having a ball. And with this COVID slowly being over, eventually we'll be able to travel again, Rumi and I. So, I think just enjoying, being alive and enjoying all these things that bring me happiness. If I can share that sense of it's possible when you're 20 and you don't have any money, and everybody, makes fun of your dreams. And no, hang on to that. Hang on to that. That's my goal. That's my goal here.
Excellent. Hey, hopefully next year, this year we'll definitely have the Hall of Fame. We're going to definitely have Ohio again. I'm almost sure we're going to have that again.
Mhm.
So I always look forward to that. We always have a great time when we get together.
Sure.
We run around eating and drinking and hanging, we get a good time. But it's a lot of fun. And I guess that's how you build your lifelong friendship. We have friends from different areas in our life. Some of them just people we grew up with, and some from martial art world. And I've been lucky enough to meet great people over the years. I met a lot of knuckleheads also, but I met, there's plenty of them out there. But I met a lot of great people and people that to this day I call my friends.
Yeah.
So not an easy thing to call friends.
Stephen, a couple of things before you say anything. Vinny wanted to let you know that he thinks you're a class act. He thinks you're a class act. He sent me a message. He wanted to let you know this. He wanted to be able to talk, but of course, Vinny creates problems all the time. I don't know why. That's okay. That's okay. And I just want to add one other thing before Alan continues. I miss seeing you, Stephen, because you are one of those people that bring a bright light into a room just by being there. It's a weird thing that you have the ability to do this. And you do it to me each and every time. You did it in Ohio and Atlantic City, wherever. You just bring this aura with you that keeps everything balanced, which is pretty good.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Very true. David, always an honor, and we'll catch up soon, buddy.
All right. Hey, this was a ball. I had a blast. I got to tell some stories that maybe nobody's heard before, and it's fun.
Well, as I always say, we have no idea what we're doing, but it all turns out good.
It always does. It always does. So, Alan, do you want to close out?
Yeah, I'll close out, and just want to say I want to thank our sponsors, Your Hive, especially with Lou. We're going to a lot of places. Look, keep your eyes open to see what's going on. I want to thank Deaf USA. Their telephone apps are really great. Great company doing some other things. We're going to bring a little more on one night and show you all about it. It's really interesting. Shaolin Brand, which is one of my other companies from Cambodia. And just want to thank our industry of martial arts for giving us this time to sit in and listen to what we get to say. Not everyone's interested. We don't need everybody. We just need the people that have that heart to want to listen to wonderful stories from our guests and other people. Thanks a lot, folks. Until next week, God bless. Stay safe. Get your shot.